Hello, I'm the Hardcore Kid. Hardcore enough to review kid stuff. Have you ever wondered why so many anime characters have such big eyes? What was the inspiration for the Lion King? And what makes Cleopatra the goddess of sex? All those questions point to just one man, Osamu Tezuka. Considered by many to be the king of anime and manga, Osamu has left a legacy of many strange yet intriguing creations to the world of Japanese animation, such as Astro Boy, Blackjack, and Kimba the White Lion. Yeah, I know many people consider the Lion King to be a Kimba ripoff, but hey, bear in mind, much of Osamu's work happened to be inspired by Walt Disney himself. Astro Boy could be considered Osamu's own personal Mickey Mouse, if Mickey Mouse were a flying robot wearing metal trousers. He's also been known for making several small shorts. Check this one out from 1984 entitled Jumping. Woo! Woo! Hayden Christensen, eat your heart out. Later that same year, Osamu also made a movie called Bagi, Monster of Mighty Nature, a direct-to-TV flick made exclusively for Japan's Nippon network. Basically, it was an attempt by Osamu to express his disgust over Japanese scientists running experiments combining different forms of DNA or some kind of weird scientific doohickey. Don't ask me, I am not a scientist. From a certain perspective, this would seem like a kind of boring premise, but Osamu always knew how to make serious situations interesting. In this case, he made a yip flick. That's right, a furry fantasy. A sad and emotional tale about a pink-haired, big-breasted cat girl trying to overcome harsh conditions and sexual encounters, trying to save the world from the threat of DNA engineering. Hey, what's that over there? Cue the theme music. The movie starts in the deserts of South America, which features cacti, old Western-style buildings, and apparently two suns in the sky. Oh, I'm sorry, this isn't South America. It's frickin' Tatooine! It's here that we're introduced to the film's protagonist, Rio, who for some reason has this weird squiggly line on his cheek. What is that thing? Is it a scar? Is it an ingrown hair? Or does he like taking insulin in the face? Anyway, he, along with a little boy named Chico, hop onto a souped-up motorbike and head out into the desert. So Rio and Chico finally reach a watering hole where a creature known as Bagi is known to reside.
バギって正体は何？悪魔なのかい？
そうだな。いや、そうじゃない。動物だ。いや、人間とも言える。
No, it's the world's greatest toothbrush. It's a freaking anthro for Dave Lister's sake. So Rio tells Chico the story of how he met Bagi. We then get a flashback to Japan, circa Rio's 15th birthday. At that time, he was part of a biker gang called the Go-Gangers. While taking a midnight cruise, the gang suddenly spots a woman on a freeway overpass.
Oi, 何してるんだい? 遊ばねえで! 乗せてやるぜ! ここへ降りてきなよ!
With that body odor, take a shower, donkey lips! So the gang chases after the woman, who for some reason has the ability to disappear into thin air, before the leader finally catches up to her.
やったっていいだろ怖がるなってんだニャンニャンしようぜ俺と付き合うのは嫌だってのね
But what they don't know hurts them, as the stranger suddenly attacks and chops them all up. But now wait a minute, if this person is so goddamn fast, then why wasn't she able to outrun the biker gang on the bridge? Anyway, all the gang members are knocked out until Rio is the only one left. So Rio heads back to his house where he lives with his dad, while his scientist mother is away at her lab.
そりゃ父さんたちにも責任はある母さんは美月に一回も帰ってこない父さんも仕事の都合でどうしても外へ泊まることが多いだからといってお前が
親がなくたって子は育つんだよ
Don't you just hate movies where the main character has family troubles? If you can't take commitment with another individual, just go marry a mole or something.
こんなもの
Teleport! The next day, the Go-Gangers arrive at an old shack where the stranger was last seen.
犬の足跡か
それにしちゃでけえぞ
熊じゃないか
激しいどうした骨だ骨があるぞわかんねえが鳥の骨やら犬の骨みてえだち大げさに騒ぐねだってなんだか血生臭いぜ
犬が食い散らかしたのかい
ガタガタするんじゃねえとにかく俺たちは奴を待ち伏せするんだ
警察かなんか知らせたら
ふざけんなこれは俺たちの問題だ相手が女だろうと化け物だろうと俺たちが自分で落とし前をつけるんだ
Teleport! So the gang spends the entire night waiting for the creature to come by the house, until Rio is forced to go out and watch guard.
奴はおとりだ
Wow, and you're a backstabbing prick. A phone message?
It is now April 13th, 1979, 6:25 p.m. I am in possession of a bizarre creature, a hybrid of a human girl and a mountain lion. I kept her with me for the night, but this morning she tried to attack me while I was trying to eat my fish sticks.
Fish sticks.
Shut up. So I knocked her out with a shovel, and then I dragged her to my tool shed, and I buried her. God help me, I buried her in the earthly floor of the tool shed.
Bagi よ
Stop it with the
So it was all just a stupid dream?
私りょうしばらくね
嘘だバギはお前みたいな化け物じゃないぞ
りょう私の顔をよく見てちょうだいあれから9年も経ってるのよ
9年お前なんか知らねえ知らねえったら知らねえ
毛の匂いを嗅いでほら思い出したでしょ私の匂い
So let me get this straight. When he was little, he enjoyed smelling Baggy's ass. Oh no, that isn't disturbing in the slightest. So Bagi tells Rio about how he owned her as a pet when he was little. A flashback within a flashback? What is this, pre-inception? We get a montage of little Rio taking care of Bagi, giving her food, helping her when she's ill, all the way up to the point where she starts walking on her hind legs. But then all the other people became suspicious of Bagi, so she ran away and started posing as a human for the next 9 years.
あなたガールフレンドとか恋人いないの
そんなもんいねえよ俺は一匹狼なんだそれがどうした
私も一人ぼっち一匹狼じゃなくて 一匹猫なのよ。
Okay, so Bagi is now Ryo's cat girlfriend. And this is where things start to get ugly. You know what, guys? I've got a good idea for a drinking game. Whenever there's the tiniest bit of sexual innuendo, take a swig. So Ryo and Bagi decide to head out to a research lab where his dad had been to see if he can find any evidence, only to get shot at by infrared-guided lasers. Wait, what? So Bagi decides to tunnel her way into the building. Yeah, that's a very nice view. Take a swig, me hearties! But when a glass window blocks their way, Bagi uses her tail to break it.
すげえ。これ特殊ガラスなんだぜ。
さあ、中へ。
Eight-man hop! Well, whatever the hell that was, who cares? Because now we cut back to real-life times, where it appears that Bagi has finally reached the watering hole. So Ryo shoots her, only to find out that it was actually a woman, coming to tell Ryo that Bagi has attacked the village.
バギは俺の父ちゃんを食っちゃったんだぜ。人殺しなんか平気だ。
それにしても女子供を襲うなんて。
だって悪魔だからだろ。
ふざけるな。バギは悪魔じゃない。あれはかわいそうな科学の犠牲者なんだ。
さあ、中へ。
Okay, we saw this part already, and we know you're too lazy to make a legit sequence of Ryo going through the window. And that silly rubber ape head isn't scary anymore. So Ryo and Bagi decide to go look for Ryo's mother, Professor Ishigami. They go on a wild trek through rooms with robotic animal heads, green rooms with moving plants, and hallways with trigger-happy guards. But Bagi is apparently able to use special secret powers to distract the guards and help them escape to the head office, where they meet the chief of not-named trigger-happy research facility place.
所長さんかい？
そうだ。
石神博士に会いに来たんだ。
石神博士はここにおらん。
いない？嘘つけ！ここの研究員だぞ。
博士は昨日南米へ出発した。
南米だって？どこへ？
モニカ共和国のクカラチア研究所へ招かれていた。
Anyway, the chief tells him that 9 years ago, Ryo's mother was working on a gene transfer experiment which could combine 2 animal life forms together. The experiment ended up going haywire after the lab was hit by an earthquake, and all the animals broke out.
逃げたのは何匹？
15匹です。
全部殺すのよ。一匹でも逃がしてはダメ。みんな探し出して必ず一匹残らず。
Yikes. Ryo's mother's a bitch. So yeah, in a really mean-spirited way, all the animals get hunted down and killed. Now, this scene right here, this is a classic example of one of Osamu's shoutouts to Walt Disney. Right here, we see baby Bagi with her mother. But just as she leaves Bagi alone, she goes out and gets shot. Now, if that doesn't remind you of Bambi, I don't know what will. You people are idiots. So the chief is about ready to clock Bagi when... Ooh, trippy. So yeah, after hypnotizing the chief, she orders him to send Ryo and Bagi out to South America to meet up with Professor Ishigami. Ryo sits in his seat while Bagi is in a cage in the cargo deck. Completely naked. Why is she naked exactly? What happened to her one piece? I don't know, but if you thought all the fan service was disturbing this first half, prepare for the second half. I know I am. And just like that, take a swig. Fortunately, Ryo is able to save Bagi from getting impregnated by the tentacle-raping cactus plants before running into this guy, who apparently suffers from Youngblood's disease.
逃れたんだ。お前さえ来なきゃ、その間にサボテンがそいつを絞め殺してくれるはずだった。余計なことをしてくれたな。あばよ坊や。
And no, we never do see or hear from that guy again. Pointless subplot number 1? Gone. So Bagi and Rio are sent free-falling, but Bagi is able to make a parasail in midair and diverts them into a river. Later that night, we see... Okay, this has wrong written all over it.
私が舐めていればきっと治るわ。
よせよ。どのくらい舐めるんだ？
あと3日ぐらい。
3日も？
今日で4日目よ。
ここはどこなんだろう？モニカ共和国かな？
いいえ、でも国境の近くらしいわ。
それじゃ出かけよう今すぐ。
ダメよ。国境には警備兵がいてすぐ撃たれるわよ。
じゃあどうするんだい？このジャングルの中にいつまでも隠れてろって。よせよ。
Well, you know what they say. In Soviet Russia, pussy lick you. So after a night of sleep and what I can imagine furry sex, Bagi and Rio commandeer a circus truck, only to get pulled over by the commander of the Monica police, Mr. Sardo.
Sardo. No Mr. Accent on the do.
He thinks that the circus truck is actually a vehicle for guerrilla armies, and demands that Bagi go through a burning barbed wire to see if they really are in the circus. Bagi succeeds. Hooray! That means he'll let him go, right? Wow, fuck you, Castro! Oh, shut up! So Rio wakes up in a hospital bed where he's finally reunited with his mother.
母さん、バギは、
まだ起きちゃダメ。寝ておいで。
バギはどこだ？どうしたんだよ？
バギ？あの実験動物ね。よく連れてきてくれたわね。あれはすぐ殺して標本にするわ。
なんだって？
外へ逃げたのは私のミスだったの。処分しなければならないのよ。
バギにもしものことがあったら母さんでもただじゃおかねえぞ。
なんて口を聞くの。あんたは変わったわね。
Wow. 9 years, still a bitch. Then Professor Ishigami confronts Bagi.
Mira, Ozawa. Reveal your catch to me, and all. 麻酔弾の眠りから覚めたかいバギ。
Aw, damn it. Picked a wrong time to stop sniffing glue.
絶対に逃げられはせん。諦めるがいい。お前はあと1時間で解剖され、遺伝子工学の貴重な標本としてこの研究所に保管されるのだよ。心臓だけは私が冷凍にして日本へ持って帰る。
What the smeg? It's the same heart box that the Queen had in Snow White. I'm not even joking here. It's the exact same box. This is low. This is irate gamer levels of low. Osamu has now reached a point in his career where he's blatantly ripping off his idol. This scene is exactly like the scene at the beginning of Snow White with the Queen talking to the mirror. Only difference? It didn't have a pink, big-breasted cat girl glued to a board in the background! But at that moment, the president of Monica shows up at the lab, and Ishigami finally reveals her experiment. Rice balls for hybrid genetics.
どういうものかを調べなければなりません。
よーし、部屋へ戻んな坊や。俺はセメンボンド。
Great, a James Bond wannabe. Just what we needed. What's next? Sean Bean as Alec Trevelyan style? So 007 agrees to lead Rio to Bagi, while his mother is in tears after the rice balls end up killing all her animals.
それでも死ぬ。その通りだ。この米を我が政府に歯向かう反逆者ゲリラ軍へ食わしてやれば立ちどころに全滅だ。
なんと仰せでした。
そればかりではない。世の政治に不平を言う反対分子どもに食わせて粛清をするのだ。まだあるぞ。ゲリラどもを支援している隣国の奴らにもこの米を食わせよう。パンに混ぜてばらまき全滅してしまおう。おい良き考えじゃ。これで世は安泰、世界の強国となれる。
So let me get this straight. The president of Monica is actually trying to turn his small fictional country into a world power by using rice balls as genocide.
兵器じゃ。立派な兵器になるわ。
No, it's not splendid. It's stupid and outright impossible. How are you guys going to distribute that stuff? It'll most likely get banned in most countries, and I'm sure the only reason guerrillas would get a hold of it is simply to sell it for drug money. How is it that Monica is such an enterprising country if its president is dumber than both Hitler and Saddam combined? So finally Rio finds Bagi glued to the board and decides to use hot oil to melt it off. After the audience has finally taken another swig, Bagi tries to stand up now, but seems to be losing her sense of humanity. Oh yeah, sure. Have a sword fight with a little 15-year-old. Hell, why not the two of you have sword fights on motorcycles? Or even better, children's card games on motorcycles. No? Ah well, poor sport. Rio then sees Bagi running out of the lab carrying a bag, and then he finds his mother. Rio then makes a vow to kill Bagi for betraying him, and spends the next 5 years training with Bond. The rest of the movie is just more lame build-up, now taking place in present South America. There's no point in this. We already know who Chico is. We know Rio is trying to save the villages from Bagi. So why have this? It's just making the plot holes even larger and the film even longer than it already is. You know what? Since there's only about 15 minutes left in this movie, I'm going to get through it quickly. Rio finds out that it was actually a group of mountain lions that were the ones who killed all the villagers, and not Bagi. So he and Chico managed to kill them all off. Then he heads back to the cave where he runs into several military officers surrounding it. But Bagi, now fully in animalized states, is able to use her powers to kill off all the soldiers, until she and Rio are the only two left. Yeah, that was quite a hesitation, alright. Looked like she was trying to cough up a fur ball. Rio then discovers Bagi wearing a necklace containing a note from his mother, explaining that Bagi was there to bury the poison rice ball and give the note to Rio, giving her sincere apology before she was slaughtered by the president's attack dogs. So Rio prepares to bury Bagi, but then she comes back to life and heads out into the wild where she will be safe from humanity forever. Now, I can't really say this movie sucks, but it's definitely mediocre at best. I'm sure there are a few people who will enjoy it, but I'm not one of those people. The formula is there. A guy is in love with a creature he loves and wants the best for her, but unfortunately has a falling out which results in them fighting to the death. But frankly, I found the movie to be way too long. The animation hasn't aged well at all, the plot holes are the size of rice balls, and there's an overabundance of fan service. On top of it all, much of the characters in this movie are interchangeable, one-dimensional, and just flat-out generic. They don't have any backstory, they just seem to appear randomly, and then they disappear with no explanation given. I still don't know who Dr. Youngblood here is, but it doesn't really matter. It's also a very obscure movie. There's no English dub for it, and the DVDs are actually very rare. But, you know what, considering the alternative, it could have been much worse. Diamante Hagen!
Oh, hardcore child, looks like you've met your match. You can't handle pink little cat boobies, while I can handle pink and boobies. You virgin.
Listen here, you Heath Ledger-inspired bitch. I don't have to paint my face or dye my hair to make myself look hardcore. You're just a poser like that smeghead guy Liner.
Listen to me, you little brat! I've had to sit through shite like bone kickers and left behind. Shite that you wouldn't even believe. Shite that you can't even see. And all you've had to sit through is a secret of Nim 2, and you can't even fucking pronounce its name right. Fuck you!
It's pronounced Nymph.
Child, if you think you're hardcore, why don't you review one of my movies?
Sorry, Hagen, it's not in my contract. I only review animated movies and television shows.
Oh, but it is animated, and it's a very special little piece of animation. It's made by the same guy who made Cool World, and not Gabriel Byrne.
You mean Ralph Bakshi? The animated Lord of the Rings movie? No. Fire and Ice? No. Oh no. No, Hagen. No. No! Anything! Anything but Fritz the Cat! No. You can't make me watch this movie, Hagen. In fact, no. You can't make me watch it. You live all the way out in Britain, and I live here in New Jersey.
Oh, of course I can't make you. I'm only head of the world's greatest crime syndicate, Empress of the Fortress Nation of Afghanistan, deputy head of the League of Not Very Nice Types, the person who rigs the Oscars. Of course I can't make you. I can't make you do anything. I only have operatives in every single country on the planet. Operatives like him.
Well, salutations, hardcore kid. Mr. British guy? Aw, kid, I always knew you were a half-minded little bastard. Don't you know the British guy is always the bad guy? You little limey backstabbing tea drinker, you'll never get away with this! No. But you'll be going somewhere. So how's that Bone Kicker series going?
I'm about to start writing episode 3.
Ouch.
Yeah, when he's done, make him review a few episodes of Bone Kickers. And then wipe his mind and make him review it again. And then wipe the blip file so he can't make profit out of his pain. And then don't wipe his mind again because I want him to remember the horror of Bone Kickers. And then do a little dance.
Highland sword dance or Morris dance?
Highland sword with kilt.
With pleasure, mistress.